Another round of success stories and results from the LinkedIn leverage system. Kicking us off with Ben. Ben's got a really interesting offer where he helps marketing agencies turn their creative team into closers. Okay, in other words, he helps their creative teams package up their ideas and engage in more powerful conversations with clients that turn into revenue and business. And he's got a great background as a creative director himself. He had to learn how to do this the hard way, saw a lot of mistakes that agencies were making in trying to convert new business, built an offer around it, jumped into 90-day pipeline, and the rest is history. So Ben's done so well. I believe 2021 was his first year in business, if I'm not mistaken, that by January of 2022, so we got this message from him a little while ago, January of 2022, he had booked out, I believe, at least 6 months of the year he was busy. Like he was completely booked out for the first 6 months of the year, if not for the entire year. But he had basically most of the year booked out in January. Okay. That's the power of the flywheel effect, right? This didn't just happen overnight. Like Ben was working on this, for probably a good 12 months and was getting deals and was winning and was getting great results. But it took about 12 months for the flywheel effect to completely see this through, and boom, 6 to 12 months of the year, he's completely booked out with, more clients than he can really handle. And that's what happens when you do this consistently. It's not rocket science. It's the power profile and magnetic outreach and disruptive insights and opportunity engineering done consistently. Ben is publishing. Ben is sharing disruptive insights. Ben is running live workshops, right? Ben is speaking to his market consistently, day in and day out, week in and week out. And these are the results that happen when you stay on the wagon, okay? Nicole, similar story. She's a recruitment and talent consultant, okay? And she was really good. She got really, really good at disruptive insights, right? So she was speaking directly to the pains that her market was experiencing. These are recruitment agencies. She was speaking really directly to the pains they were experiencing. And what happened was she went from a nobody, no one knew who she was, to having people reach out to her, right? CEOs, decision makers, founders of these agencies reaching out to her. But not only that, they discover her through her positioning and her disruptive insights, but also she started seeing a whole lot less of price objections. Right? Nobody was asking about price or concerned about price because she positioned herself so well through her disruptive insights. That's Nicole. Mohammed is a great story because Mohammed is in the procurement industry something of a rock star. He's something of a legend. He's been at this game for a while now, right? And there's a couple of stories in particular that I think really are worthy of sharing when it comes to Mohammed's story. So Mohammed's a procurement consultant, very specific offer in that he helps procurement departments renegotiate their IT contracts with the big IT vendors. Okay. And he did this initially through consulting. He's now doing a lot of training as well. As he scaled LinkedIn leverage, built more relationships, he started to pivot his offer from consulting to training, which scales a whole lot better because now he's not going in and doing the work for the client. He's training their team. He can work with more clients, so on and so forth. But a couple of stories. One is Mohammed signed the largest book retailer in Canada, Indigo Books and Music. This is like the Barnes and Noble of Canada. He signed them to a deal in, I think the whole thing from first point of contact to deal was 30 days, right? This is a big company, biggest book retailer in Canada. 30 days from initial conversation to close and no pre-existing relationship. He didn't know anybody at the company. They didn't know him. What happened was there was an internal consultant working with the company who discovered Mohammed on LinkedIn through his disruptive insights, reached out and said, I think that these guys need your help. And it wasn't an area that this particular consultant was helping with. He was a contractor. It was an area that they needed somebody else from the outside to come in on. And so they brought him in, and like I said, right, initial meeting to deal, 30 days. Big company like that doesn't happen very often. It happened because of the trust that was created through the disruptive insights strategy. The second story is Mohammed got called in by big public company whose name I have down there at the bottom of the screen. I don't think I'm supposed to mention their name, but apparently it's there. Big public company called him in. They message him on LinkedIn and they go, hey, we really like your work, disruptive insights. And I think we need your help. Can you come in for a meeting into our Midtown, Manhattan office? And Mohammed goes, yeah, sure. I'm going to be there actually next week for some meetings. I can come by. Of course, he then proceeds to book his plane tickets from Toronto to New York to make it for this meeting, walks into their Midtown Manhattan office, and the who's who is in the room. Directors, VPs, the executives in charge of making a decision to work with him. There's like 6 or 7 of them in the room. And he's walking around the room introducing himself. And they're all going, oh, we know who you are. We're really big fans of your work. So I don't know about you, but that's how I would like to start a sales conversation, with your reputation having preceded you before you ever walk into the room. Okay. Lynn, executive coach. Okay. She'd done a lot of stuff. She'd been around the block. She was admittedly skeptical about the entire LinkedIn leverage approach, but she got on the wagon. She started publishing. That's the game here. It's publishing disruptive insights consistently. And what we find is that if you don't generate truly disruptive insights, you're not going to get a lot of attention. Surprise, surprise, right? But when we get really good at disrupting the market, shifting their perspective, challenging their assertions, challenging the status quo, being contrarian, we get attention, right? And as a result, as we see here, Lynn just posted on LinkedIn. I've only been doing so daily and consistently for 1 week. This is 1 week in, and had a prospective client DM me to tell me my post resonated with her and she wants to find out more about my services. Why am I suddenly so nervous? Long story short, 5-figure engagement, deal closed. That's 1 week in to publishing. Imagine what happens 2 weeks in, 3 weeks in, 6 months in. Ramona, she got wiped out by COVID. All of her existing clients paused, and she struggled for the next year or two, just spinning her wheels, couldn't get anything done. LinkedIn leverage allowed her to generate inbound interest again and ultimately close deals. And now she's in a position, which we love to see, where she's hiring back her old employees who she used to work with, that used to work for, that she had to lay off because of COVID. She's hiring them back now because she has the money to do so. She sold her largest contract to date using LinkedIn leverage. And here's a quick note from Ramona. She says, first week of manual outreach, and I nearly have a 50% connection rate. Power profile, people. Power profile. If you're looking at this and you're going, well, I can't get a 50% connect rate, that's because your profile doesn't make you look very good. You got to be worthy of a connection. They've got to want to connect with you via the power profile. And book my first discovery call and have another on the calendar for the upcoming week, right? So again, when you're just getting started, that first call, that second call, that third call is a big deal. Last but not least for today's video, Hussain is another procurement consultant, actually more specifically project management consultant. So he helps project management organizations to get up and running, and specifically works with new PMO organizations. And so he's gotten really good at sharing disruptive insights on LinkedIn and building an audience. And there's 2 particular outcomes here that are worthy of sharing. One is that he signed a deal with Johnson & Johnson worth $72,000. He's also done deals with the NFL and a couple of other big blue chip companies. But also that he was invited by LinkedIn to create his own LinkedIn learning course on project management. And that has created all kinds of inbound attention from him because he's clearly been put on a pedestal. And LinkedIn themselves reached out to him, discovered him via his disruptive insights. So that's all for today. Hope these stories inspire you to stay on the path, implement LinkedIn leverage, and get results like this.